So, this episode is going to be a little bit different. We've been doing this quick fire questions on YouTube, and I thought, why not try it on the podcast so you can actually get a better sense of how I actually look at service businesses. So, here we go. Hey, I'm Veronica DePolo, and I help service business owners turn their words into leads and stay visible to the people they want to attract. Each week, I talk about how to promote your business with words humans use, not machines, so you get found and chosen faster. Welcome to the Branding Momentum Podcast. So, question number one. What is the first thing that you notice when you open someone's website? So one of the first things that I actually see is the banner. Obviously, the banner, the first thing that I see is like, okay, what is their mission? But not really their mission, not the old kind of way. It's what is the transformation the business provides? What do they actually do for the person that is actually reading that website that comes in, maybe from an email, maybe from social media, maybe who knows, right? So, what is the first impression that I get? Do I really get what they're actually saying? Is it simple to understand what do they actually do for that service? Also, another thing, which is very important, is how fast I actually understand what they actually do. Because if I don't get it in 2 seconds, I'll be like, crickets, Now, most of the things that I always look at that is, okay, what is the copy of the website? What are they actually saying? Is it all egocentric, meaning talking about them, that's the service, instead of the person that is actually reading? Because I always say, when you are creating a website, you are creating it for one person that you actually don't even know. So the copy that you're creating for that website needs to be about that person. It ain't about you. And it's always one person actually reading you at the same time. It is not like you're in a big stadium and people are like cheering what they're reading on your. No. It's just one simple person actually reading what you're actually saying to them. So it needs to be very personal, the kind of copy that we put on the website. Now, like I say, what are they actually talking about? Is it about their services or the years of experience, or are they actually talking to their potential clients, or they're actually already talking to their current clients? Because that is a big difference, how you actually put that writing onto your website. Because if I'm already a client of yours, I already know exactly what you do. But if I'm somebody that doesn't know you, I need to be moved. I need to be saying every time I'm reading, I'm like, okay, I get it. Okay, she does this. Okay, they do that. Oh, they solve this problem. Okay, more interesting. Then I want to dig a little bit more. Well, I'm that kind of person. I like to dig a little bit more. I like to research a little bit more, especially in the about page. And this is where I see a lot of people go way off because they're talking about their years of experience, or they're glorifying, I don't know, partnerships that they have, and they have all these logos sometimes, and you're like, okay, yeah, but what about me? What about the little people? That's what I'm always looking about. Now, question number 2 is, what makes a proposal feel weak before you even finish reading it? Not many people know this about me, but in my event organization years, I used to do a lot of proposals for bidding books for world events to come to the region or help in other regions. So obviously, I was mainly based on the aesthetics and the design of the bidding book. But through the years and with my experience in marketing and how people actually want to be reading, the first sign that I see is that usually these proposals for any business, any person that you want to hire, that they want to hire you, is the long format. So if you're going the real long and you have this indexes and all these sort of things to back up, that's great. You can have as many backups and indexes as you may want. But the reading of the entire thing needs to be light and airy and refreshing. Also, as I said on the website, the proposal is read most probably by one person or a full committee of people, right? So you need to speak to them. What are you going to do for them? It's not what you actually do. What are the things that you've been doing all these years and all your years of expertise? And most people actually end up leaving the about them towards the middle end, which I get. Okay, it's fine. But then you give so much about you, but not about the person that is going to be hiring you. And these proposals, most of the time, are templates. I know. They're templates, they're easy. If you get an RFP or something, you can put it and put the names and dates and all that and the numbers and you fix it up, but it's still not good enough in my book. And what I see is that when you have so many pages, you're actually repeating yourself most of the time. You're over explaining yourself. If you already explained it in your intro and you want to go deeper on that, don't try not to repeat what you already said in the intro. Look at it from a different angle. Look at it from if you were an event organizer and you want to get hired by a company, or just look at it from the perspective of that company that is actually hiring you, not as you've been doing all these years. Nobody really cares about that. Now, another thing that I see is that you are trying to justify the price. Yes, there are certain costs that you should say, these are our basic costs, but don't try to over explain, over justify why this is the price. Actually turn it around. What you can actually do by providing this price? What is the kind of things that differentiate you from any other company that is going to be hiring you with that same pricing? What do you bring to the table that is so different? And what this actually does is that you're actually selling the process and not the result, which means you're actually selling the process and not the result. If you can actually digest it into what is the process, you bring them into the storytelling, how your process of working with them will be, not as stiff or as we do this and then we do 1B and then we do 1C and then we do 2A and 2B. Oh my God. Who wants to read that? And you'll see that most of the time, people don't even read this. They end up just simply going to the back of like, okay, what's the price? Okay. Yeah, okay. They're too expensive. Bye. You don't want that. You want to get them from the first sentence that you're writing that proposal. Third question. What's the difference between someone being visible and someone having presence? I'm just going to have a little sip of water for this one because, oh my God, I can see it coming. Okay. So in normal terms, right? Visibility, when we think about it, well, in the perspective also within marketing, is that visible means that you're posting, that you're showing up, that you're being seen. People get to see you. Some people might say, "Oh my God, you're everywhere. You're doing a great job." They see you. That is the visible part, right? Now, the presence part is the part where it gets a little bit muddier and trickier because the presence is more about how people actually remember you because of something that you have said that maybe struck a chord, or they thought that you've said something that you explain it in such a specific kind of way that they said, oh my God, this is so interesting. I need to listen a little bit more about this. Or, oh my God, this person wrote an amazing email. And I get those, so, to be honest, a lot of the times from my V's emails. And most of the people that actually write to me say, oh my God, I just needed that email today. You just lifted me up and I was so in my head and thank you so much. That is more of a presence. Another important thing is actually how people actually explain things, how people speak. You know how many times somebody said to me, "Oh my God, I speak Spanish and I hear you and I love hearing you speak in English because I understand everything that you're saying." And I was like, "Really? That's so funny." And I have a friend who says, "You should actually be teaching English." And I'm like, "Why would I be teaching English? I talk about marketing, that is in business and I don't know, in leads. That is my thing." But some people actually like when I speak in English. And if you don't, it's fine. It's okay. I won't get hurt. But it's actually the way that you speak, the way that you communicate. If you have your personality, if you're fun, if you're enthusiastic, or if you're always bored, with a one tone kind of way, those kind of things are as important, right? Also, how people actually explain things. Sometimes some people Jesus, I know this podcaster who his English, and I understand his English accent, okay? Don't get me wrong. But the way he talks, I was actually listening to him the other day, and I've tried many times because he's a smart boy. And I would be like, I don't even know half of the things that you're saying. I don't even get it. It's so complicated to understand him that I don't know if people actually gravitate towards him because he's a pretty face, or because, oh God, I can't believe I'm saying that, or simply because, I don't know, his accent, maybe. I don't know. Another important thing that I would say is that the conviction, how passionate you are with the topic that you're talking about. Because for me, I can talk about marketing, I can talk about interior designing, I can talk about fashion, I can talk about organizing events all day long, and I get excited and I can talk about it, and yeah, I'm in my own monologue. But yeah, it's the way that you come across when somebody scrolls through your stuff or sees you on a YouTube video. How do they actually feel when they see you? I'm like, well, I know, a lot of people actually are checking you out, but besides that. And even, the energy that you bring into a conversation, and you're thinking how you are actually, like this Brene Brown or Mel, what's her name? What's her last name? Mel Robbins. Oh my God. Well, when you see her, she's always passionate about what she's actually talking about. Either you like her or you don't like her, but she's always passionate about her stuff. Like, what's this guy's name as well? I'm horrible at names. Sorry. What's this guy's name? Anthony Robbins. Yeah, he's so energetic and he screams, or like Gary Vee, that he's always like, saying all these things, and you're like, yes, of course, I want to be behind you. That kind of thing is what I'm actually talking about. Okay, question number 4. What does the way someone dresses communicate before they even speak? Okay, see, this is one of my favorite topics. Fashion. Well, if you didn't know, I used to be an image consultant for many, many years. And fashion for me, since I was a child, I loved it. I loved styling. I loved dressing my family, my friends, everybody that wanted to be helped. I wanted to help them. And I think because I was also in organizing events, I was also involved in a lot of things like uniforms and these sort of things that we were doing. But besides the point, because who wants to talk about me? I don't want to talk about me. The first thing that I would say when somebody dresses is their image. I would say the image of an entire person is quite important. Either you're doing like photo shooting or you're doing reels and all that. We got to look decent. Or I mean, don't get me wrong, you can be with a hoodie and you look great, because I know a lot of creators that they can put on a hoodie and they look amazing and they have their face, well done. And you don't even have to do that anymore today. Thank God. We don't have to be putting makeup, although I'm a makeup person. I like to do something. Also the style, how are they dressing, how they look, and are they nicely combined? All those sort of things actually do show something before you have spoken, because that is the first thing that somebody sees. When you walk into a room or you go into a networking event, the first thing that somebody sees is you, right? So is how you look. They're going to judge you already from how you're looking. I mean, tell me about it. I've been judged my entire life just the way that I would put something together. And so I've been with that ever since I could remember. So I'm not saying that you have to be perfect from top to bottom, but just be you with your own personality, how you want to dress in the way that actually helps the features that you have, your complexion, your body shape, all these sort of things. It doesn't matter if you have a few kilos or you don't have a few kilos. Nobody really cares about that. Actually, just before you talk, people will actually have an opinion. And it's just that. So please don't get caught up in that. Don't think about it. Just remove it from your brain. Stop overthinking about what will people think, because that is BS, BS. Now, for me, the most important thing as we're talking about personal branding, okay, in this case, we're talking about personal branding, is the eye contact. It's how much you actually look into a person's eye. Because for years, I used to see when somebody would walk into the room, I mean, I don't know why it was, I think it was a cultural thing, which I totally blocked it out of my being. But I used to look at people's shoes. That was it. I mean, it was a cultural thing. People would always look down to see how you're looking, but they were actually looking at the shoes, not from bottom to top. No. Now I only want to see their eyes. I want to see their smiles. And I feel like Tyra Banks now. If you're smiling, if you are energetic with your eyes, if you have eye contact, if you are looking at me, if you're looking somewhere, I mean, if you're present with me in the conversation. And like I said, a lot of people decide if they either like you or not just before you have even said one simple word. And I always say, you know what? Give a good handshake, smile, not a fake smile, not like, no, with conviction, with energy, with, hey, how you doing? And give that good handshake. And obviously the way that you are being dressed, the style that you have within you, all those kind of things will show if you're either serious, unfortunately, if you're not serious, if you care for yourself, if you have self-respect, or you don't have self-respect. I see a lot of people that actually dress really well and they don't have any of those things. They don't have self-respect. They don't care for themselves. They overthink a lot of stuff. So if that is your case, well, sometimes, there are things that we can do to help you bring that personal personality and that personal brand out of you so that you feel a little bit more in control and better in your skin. Tell me about it. I did a lot of work on this. And this is why I actually gravitated from events to personal branding at some point, because I had lived that transformation myself. Now, question number 5. When someone comes to work with you, what do they think their problem is? And what do you usually discover instead? Oh my God, who wrote these questions? Oh, good. This is a good one. Okay. Well, most of the people come to me, they think they're coming to me for the leads, the marketing, the money, the sales, the operations, the business. But what actually often happens is that they're coming for the communication, the way they talk, why someone would actually hire them. That is actually something that we do in private work. Why would somebody hire you? Why would they be enthusiastic to hire you and choose your service? Because I only work with service people. This is my world where I completely understand the service people, and not the service people, but the service buyer. Okay. Now, how sporadic you actually show up. How often are you showing up? How are you actually communicating as a business owner, as a personal brand, what you actually do and how you are actually communicating that so that people go like, oh, crap, yeah, I want to work with this person. Oh, yes, I need this. This is the energy that I needed. This is the words. This is exactly what I mean by I need somebody like that. And not many people actually realize that they actually do need it when they actually come to me. This is being developed and we bring it out together. We both actually dig into conversations, that kind of information. Like, why? Why are we doing this? Why do we need to do this? Why do we need to speak to that one little person and not to everybody? Why do we need to be more specific? And not only the communication part, but it's also the structure, how weak or how fragile your business is structured in a way. Because if your business is structured in a sales mode, and I did a podcast episode about it, but it's really true. When you do your business and it's around sales mode and you're not on business mode, that means that you are only having a very little amount of leads that are coming into your pipeline. So you need to be building that little machine that you can actually take care of your clients, but you're building that back end from different angles that people can come in and want to be working with you. So the structure of the business, from the website, from the proposal that you're putting out, as somebody who actually meets you in person as your personal brand or as your presence, or what are the kind of things that you're putting out into the world so people actually know what you're all about within your business, about your service. All those things, we actually work on all of that into a 90-day program that we build based on what they think they want, but also what I think from conversations with them. Obviously, we adapt and make it so they, the time that we're using together is working and they can see the information and what we're planning and we're strategizing immediately. Because I like to work more with things that are a little bit more tangible. Yes, I love long strategies, but there's certain things that can be fixed right away. Now, I'm not talking about positioning. I'm not talking about CTRs, which is click-through rates, okay? I'm not talking about these sort of like metrics or vanity metrics that a lot of people are stuck in their brain. I want to actually help them more to have a roast of leads all the time, that they're showing up where they need to be showing up and not be everywhere sometimes, because we're so focused on being everywhere because we're being told all the time that everybody has to be everywhere. Ugh, no, that is old news. That is the old way. That is not the new way in 2026 whatsoever. And like I said, it is more about why would somebody actually choose them and what it actually works and how it should be run as a business. So I do touch on business. I do talk operations because it is very important. Everything has to be glued, and it doesn't matter if you are a 3-person business to a 15 to 20 to 30 business. I've done it all. So yeah, this is the last one that I just thought. Anyways, I hope if you like this kind of content, let me know, please, in the comments below. I'm going to leave some links in the description if you want to sign up to the V's email, because really that is where I give you more in-depth thoughts that I have on business and how I see things and how are things that are happening right now within the business world and marketing and social media and life and things that I kind of unsee that I need to share. But most of the time is in-depth thoughts. And also, if you're interested how I actually create my podcast, I'm going to leave you the link in the description so you can take a look at that. And it's a very short blog that you can actually read and see all the things that I actually do and how I plan to be sitting here with my microphone and everything that I'm doing and how I show up. Okay. I hope to see you same time, same place next week. Bye-bye.